Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, Presidential Election Tribunal upholds President Bola Tinubu's victory as Labour Party rejects verdict. NLC directs workers to return to work Thursday. Troops rescue 6 kidnapped victims, recover 11 operational motorcycles in Zamfara. And away from Nigeria, East Africa leaders extend regional troops mandate in DR Congo. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. I am Abdurrahman Umar. Thanks for joining. Now the news. The Presidential Election Petitions Court has dismissed the ground of the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Atiku Abubakar, alleging dual citizenship and drug conviction against President Bola Tinubu. In a judgment on the objections of the All Progressives Congress (APC) and Tinubu grounds that the issues bordering on his non-qualification to contest the February 25th presidential election, Justice Moses Ugo held that the ground were new issues. He upheld the objections of the APC and Tinubu that Atiku and PDP could not smuggle new issues not pleaded in their petition on the grounds of non-qualification. Atiku had in his reply to Tinubu challenging submitted that he was constitutionally disabled from contesting for the office of President of Federal Republic of Nigeria because he forfeited the sum of $460,000 in a compromise agreement for narcotics-related crime in the United States District Court, Northern District of Illinois Eastern Division. Atiku also claimed that Tinubu failed to disclose in his Form AC that he holds dual citizenship of Nigeria and Guinea, having voluntarily acquired the citizenship of the Republic of Guinea. In the meantime, the Presidential Election Petition Court has struck out petitions brought before it by 2 political parties and their presidential candidates in a marathon judgment that lasted several hours. The tribunal had started with dismissing the petition filed by the Allied People's Movement, APM, seeking the nullification of the election on President Bola Tinubu on the grounds of the alleged double nomination of the vice presidential candidate. The Presidential Election Petitions Court also ruled that the Labour Party LP and its presidential candidate Peter Obi failed to specify how they scored the majority of lawful votes in the February 25th presidential election. Here's the report.
Outside the premises of the Court of Appeal, which hosts the Presidential Election Petition Court, the tension is palpable. Different groups are standing in solidarity with the gladiators in the courtroom. In the courtroom, different petitioners have waited for this moment and are patiently awaiting for the justices to wade through the several petitions before them. Delivering judgment in the petition brought before the court by the Allied People's Movement, Justice Haruna Samani, the chairman of the 5-member panel, held that the issue of qualification or disqualification should have gone to the Federal High Court at the pre-hearing session. He therefore ruled that the petitioners had no locus standi to challenge the nomination of a candidate by his party. Meanwhile, the tribunal ruled that the All Progressive Congress lacked the locus standi to challenge Peter Obi's membership of the Labour Party. In the lead judgment on the issue, Justice Abba Bello Muhammad held that the matter was solely an internal affair of the political party. The tribunal in turn dismissed the petition of the Labour Party and its presidential candidate Peter Obi, alleging irregularities, suppression of votes, and corrupt practices that robbed them of votes, especially in Rivers, Benue, Lagos, Taraba, Imo, and Osun states. In the lead judgment, read by Justice Muhammad, the court held that the petitioners failed to specify how they scored the majority of lawful votes in the February 25 presidential election, pointing out that they failed to specify the polling units affected. The various rulings continue to be reeled out, a significant judgment being the striking out of 3 of 13 witnesses of the Labour Party, which were filed against provisions of the law. Reading the main judgment on the petition filed by Peter Obi and the Labour Party, Justice Samani held that the witness statements were incompetent, having been made in breach of the first schedule of the Electoral Act 2022. The Presidential Election Petitions Court also dismissed the claim of the Labour Party and Peter Obi seeking to disqualify Bola Tinubu over the forfeiture of a sum of $460,000 in a U.S. court. Justice Samani held that the petitioners failed to prove that the case was criminal in nature, as Tinubu was neither arraigned nor did he take a plea, nor was a sentence of imprisonment imposed on him. A clearer picture is beginning to emerge as the justices wade through the myriad of petitions brought before the court. Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, the Labour Party LP has rejected the judgments of the Presidential Election Petitions Court in the party's petitions challenging the electoral victory of President Bola Tinubu of the All Progressives Congress APC in the February 25, 2023 poll. In a statement after the verdict of the tribunal on Wednesday, LP's National Publicity Secretary Obiora Efo said justice was not served in the petitions of the party against the APC and Tinubu. The statement also said the Labour Party will make its next move non-open consultation with its lawyers after receiving the certified true copy of the judgments. The party said the judgment of the court did not reflect the law and the desire of the people. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday has assured Nigerians of his renewed and energized focus on delivering his vision of a unified, peaceful and prosperous Nigeria, following the judgment by the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal in Abuja. A statement by Special Advisor Media and Publicity, Ejure Ngilele, said President Tinubu welcomes the judgment of the tribunal with an intense sense of solemn responsibility and preparedness to serve all Nigerians, irrespective of all diverse political persuasions, faiths, and tribal identities. The statement said President Tinubu recognizes the diligence, undaunted thoroughness, and professionalism of the five-member bench led by Justice Haruna Sammani in interpreting the law. The President affirms that his commitment to the rule of law and on the unhindered discharge of duties by the tribunal, as witnessed in the panel's exclusive respect for the merits of the petition brought forward, further reflects the continuing maturation of Nigeria's legal system and the advancement of Africa's largest democracy at a time when our democratic system of government is under test in other parts of the continent. The Kogi State Election Petitions Tribunal on Wednesday nullified the victory of Abubakar Ohere as the winner of the Kogi Central Senatorial election. The court further declared Natasha Apoti Odoagan as the actual winner of the February election. The tribunal chairman, Justice K.A. Ojako, who read the unanimous judgment of the three-man panel, said Ohere results were inflated in 9 polling units of Ajaokuta local government area, while that of Natasha was intentionally reduced in the areas by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), as well as 3 other polling units. The result was deliberately not entered for Natasha in the same local government area. The court, after making the proper correction, declared Natasha of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) as the winner of the poll, having polled 54,074 against Ohere of APC, who polled 51,291. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) has directed all workers in its affiliate unions to resume back to work Thursday after the end of a 2-day warning strike to protest against pains caused by the removal of fuel subsidy. President of the Congress, Joe Ajaero, who announced this on Wednesday night, said in the event the government fails to provide the appropriate responses to their demands, workers will remain resolute to carry another round of actions. Speaking on the outcome of the 2-day warning strike, Ajaero noted that the same passion and determination that fueled this warning strike will be crucial if they find themselves compelled to embark on an indefinite nationwide strike. He said they have made significant strides in achieving the goals set during their National Executive Council NEC meeting, which prompted the initiation of the warning strike. The Labour leader stressed that the Congress was not unmindful of the actions of those whom he described as detractors and fifth columnists, saying in the face of them all workers remained undaunted and more committed to the defense of Nigerian workers and people at any given time. And And on security matters, troops of the Joint Task Force Northwest Operation Hadirin-Daji (OPHD) have rescued 6 hostages from 2 separate local government areas of Zamfara State during clearance operation. They also recovered 11 operational vehicles from fleeing bandits at Gidanjaja in Zumi local government area of the state. A top military source said after the encounter, 11 operational motorcycles were captured from the fleeing bandits. In a similar development, troops deployed at Forward Operation Base FOB Anka in Zamfara State rescued 4 kidnapped victims at the early hours of 5th of August 2023. Also, troops of FOB Benin, while on patrol, rescued 2 kidnapped victims who were abandoned by bandits and fled on sighting troops. All the rescued victims were successfully reunited with their families. The commander Operation Hadirin-Daji, Major General Godwin Motkot, has commended the resilience and commitment of the troops. Police operatives in Adamawa State have foiled an attempt to kidnap a businessman and also killed one of the suspected gunmen. The Adamawa Police Command, in a statement on Wednesday, said the command operatives attached to Gombe Divisional Police Headquarters and some hunters in an operation on Wednesday foiled an organized crime to kidnap one Gideon Bitrus, a resident of Jangari village in Gombe local government area. The statement said the command, upon receiving the information, designated a security ring around the target, engaged the suspected kidnappers and prevented them from committing the crime. The 5 gang men were engaged in a gun duel. As a result, one was neutralized as others escaped with bullet wounds. The statement also said the State Commissioner of Police, CP Apolabi Babatola, commended the DPO Gombe, his men and the hunters for the gallantry that resulted to the crime prevention, directed them to sustain the tempo as a strategy for further crime fighting. A 5-man armed robbery gang that specializes in terrorizing unsuspecting members of the public and dispossessing them of their valuables have been arrested in Makurdi by men of Operation Zenda, a joint police task force team. The suspects were arrested after officers led by the Chief Superintendent of Police, Justin Berenja, busted them in their hideout following intelligence report. Jimmy Azandi sent in this report.
The 5-man gang confessed to their crime and also said they are members of a cult group.
I used to steal, use loan and collect people's phone. I don't know how many people that I robbed. I don't stop the collect people things.
Carry ladder, drop, climb the fence. Now remove the energy bulb, now they hold me.
Meanwhile, the police public relations officer of the command says the arrested syndicate has been notorious for their criminal activities and assured that they will be persecuted.
Information was received about a robbery syndicate operating around Kanshio, Adeke and Ki communities in Makurdi local government. And the police planned an operation and invaded the hideout of these syndicates. Upon sighting the police, one of the gang members alerted the other members with a gunshot. They engaged the police in a gun duel that led to one of them receiving a bullet wound that kept him down until the operation was over. He was rushed to the hospital, teaching hospital Makurdi, where he was receiving treatment until the unfortunate incident happened. He died in the course of treatment.
Items recovered from the suspects were paraded before newsmen. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says information on the activities and intervention programs by the Renewed Hope Initiative will enjoy wider coverage henceforth. This is to ensure that more women and other vulnerable groups targeted by the initiative across the country are captured. The minister stated this during a courtesy call on Nigeria's First Lady and National Chairman of Renewed Hope Initiative, Oluremi Tinubu, at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Applauding recent interventions by the initiative, the minister says the Renewed Hope Initiative programs effectively complement the Renewed Hope agenda of the President Bola Tinubu-led administration and as such deserves to be supported.
This is just a familiarization visit with Her Excellency, the First Lady of Nigeria, to discuss about how she wants to go about her job and how the Ministry of Information and National Orientation can come in supporting that. We all know that her role is largely to support Mr. President in the execution of his policies, but she also has her own pet projects. We discussed about that and how the Ministry of Information, like I said, and National Orientation can help in disseminating that to the Nigerian public.
The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NEC) has approved an increase in the price of prepaid electricity meters in the country. In a circular signed and dated 5th September by the Commission's Chairman and Commissioner Legal Licensing and Compliance, Sanusi Garba and Dafe Abnaye, respectively, it stated that a single-phase prepaid meter will now cost 81,975 naira from the 58,100 naira, while 3 prepaid meters is increased to 143,836 naira from 109,684 naira. The circular said the new price was to ensure a fair and reasonable pricing of meters to both MABs and end-use customers. And now on the international scene, East African leaders have agreed to extend the mandate of a regional military force deployed to quell the violence in the strife torn east of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The 7-nation East African Community EAC first sent troops into the volatile region in November after the resurgence of the M23 rebel group. An EAC statement issued on Tuesday after a summit in Nairobi said the heads of state had agreed to extend the duration of the mandate for the regional force to December 8, pending an evaluation report. The future of the deployment had been in doubt after DRC President Felix Tshisekedi criticized the force, but in June, the EAC decided to keep the troops on the ground for another 3 months. Dozens of armed groups plague the mineral-rich eastern DRC, a legacy of regional wars that raged in the 1990s and 2000s. The M23 or March 23 movement, led primarily by Tutsi, lived to global prominence in 2012 when it captured Goma, a city on the border with Rwanda, but was forced out shortly afterwards in a joint offensive by UN troops and the DRC's army. And now finally on sporting news, the Nigeria Premier Football League NPFL on Wednesday announced the postponement of the 2023-2024 season, which was scheduled to kick off on Saturday, September 9th. The board of the NPFL, while announcing the postponement, cited the need to have members focus on the annual general meeting AGM of the Nigeria Football Federation NFF, which will hold in Oyo, Akwa Ibom State. The chief operating officer, CEO of the NPF, Davis Ogumi, explained in a statement that the lead body yielded to representations from various stakeholders in reaching the decision. He added that the postponement has been communicated to the clubs so they can stand down travel plans already made. The NPFL COO also said that a new kick-off date will be communicated in a few days. And with that, we have come to the end of the Trust News Hour. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and our YouTube live stream. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.